Which one are you going to open first?
The pony!
Yep, even easier than that. Plus, with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is banking with Capital One even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. No fees or minimums on new consumer accounts. Capital One and A member FDIC.
Brian Albin, Megan McPeak with you on this Saturday night, and what a treat this ball game has been. 103-103, Wizards and Celtics tied as we head to overtime here on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Bradley Beal leading the way for the Wizards in regulation with 28 points. A double-double for Kyle Kuzma with 17 points, 15 rebounds. A double-double for Montrezl Harrell, 18 points, 10 rebounds. For the Celtics, Jaylen Brown led the way in regulation with 34. Jason Tatum, a double-double, 23 points, 12 rebounds. And Megan, so far this season, the Wizards 1-0 in overtime games, defeating the Pacers in the home opener, 135-134. And the Celtics so far in overtime games this year, 1-1. They lost in double OT on opening night to the Knicks. They won earlier this week in Charlotte, 140-129.
Yeah, so both teams have proven that they can get it done in overtime. In this situation, though, I think it's a battle of attrition. Obviously, the Wizards with that back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday, only a day off between this game and Thursday night's game. The Celtics coming in here with 2 nights off, so it'll be interesting to see what the legs look like for the next 5 minutes from both teams, but especially from the Wizards. And let's also keep in mind, Harrell, 5 fouls.
And the tip is won by the Celtics. They'll move from our left to our right. You mentioned foul trouble heading into the overtime. For the Wizards, it's Harrell with 5, Kuzma with 4. For the Celtics, it's Richardson and Horford with 4 apiece. A lob from Brown to Horford. He puts down the dribble in the paint. He's stuck under the baseline. Goes up over Harrell and flings it in as he was falling down with his right hand. Celtics strike first, 105-103, 4:35 to go in overtime.
And Trez did everything he could with the exception of picking up his 6th foul. I like the fact that he made it as tough as possible for Horford.
It's now with Dinwiddie. Finds Beal off a fade screen. Crossover, step back. Jumper from the left side, no good. Schroeder pulls down the rebound for Boston. Schroeder racing ahead into the front court. Gives it to Horford. Back to Schroeder. Schroeder curls, drives on Harrell, and he lays it in. You mentioned it once again. Harrell can't pick up a 6th foul. Could only do so much. 107-103 Celtics. 4 minutes to go in overtime. It's now Dinwiddie. As the Celtics fans in the building break out into a chant here. Drawing boos from the Wizards fans. Dinwiddie to the rim. Shot contested. It bounces out of bounds off of Al Horford. It'll stay with the Wizards. 4.3 to go on the shot clock, so the Wizards not much time to work with here.
Right, the way that the Celtics faithful that's here in D.C. started to erupt, you would have thought we were in Boston.
Dinwiddie to inbound from the baseline. Lobs it into Harrell. 3 on the shot clock. Harrell, a step back left side 3. Off the rim, no good. Beal crashes for the rebound. He's got it. Finds Caldwell Pope. He's going to drive the right baseline, but loses the handle of it out of bounds over the end line. The 10th Wizards turnover of the game comes at a costly time. The Celtics a chance now with the ball in their largest lead of the night of just 4 points. It's Tatum who brings it into the front court. He picks the left side of a double screen, pulls up from 19 and buries it. Timeout Wizards as the Celtics start the overtime period on a 6-0 run. It's 109-103 Boston, 3:26 to go.
And it's tough because offensively for the Wizards down the stretch of regulation, we saw them become very stagnant on offense. Not a lot of ball movement, not a lot of off-ball movement. And it's been the same thing here so far to start the overtime. Just a couple of miscues and trying to go one-on-one a lot more than what we're used to so far in this early going of the season.
On the other side of things, we saw the first couple of buckets that the Celtics got. They went right at Montrez with his 5 fouls, and he didn't do much other than, keep verticality because he's got to be careful. At some point, do you have to risk picking up the 6th foul and contest and make sure it's not an easy one?
I think Montrez has played long enough that he knows when to pick his spots properly. And it's a credit as well, too, to the Celtics. They know he's in foul trouble, so their easy decision is to attack whoever is in foul trouble. He just has to find the right angles defensively to still put himself in a position that he can contest and contend with what the Celtics are doing, but not put himself in a position that he fouls. But at a certain point, he will have to make a business decision. But then also, it puts the Wizards at a tougher position because who do you then bring in his place?
That is the challenge that the Wizards are facing on a night where they are still without Daniel Gafford. And, of course, they're still without Thomas Bryant, not expected to be back until maybe the mid to end December range. So Wizards trying to figure it out with what they have. They've been able to get off to a 4-1 start this season doing just that. Out of the timeout, the Celtics bring a little full court pressure. Long pass to Caldwell Pope, who brings it into the front court. Now Caldwell Pope driving past the pressure of Schroeder, kicks it out to Harrell. Now Dinwiddie on the right side finds a rolling Harrell. Pump fake, he's stripped by Tatum. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wizards. 11 on the shot clock. But some of the most active hands defensively we've seen from the Celtics all night on these last couple possessions.
Yeah, and the length that both Brown and Tatum have, it can disrupt offensive flow and getting deflections.
And now Kuzma facing up on Brown. Shot clock down to 3. Back to Brown. Spinning. Fadeaway jumper left elbow. Short, no good. It doesn't touch anything. And Tatum has the rebound. Things coming undone for the Wizards here in overtime as this Celtics crowd continues to make noise with their team up 6, 109-103. Tatum going to work on Kuzma on the right wing. Crossover, pull up, 21-footer, short, no good. Rebound comes off of Montrezl Harrell. It'll stay with Boston. The shot clock will reset to 14. 2:40 to go in the game.
And the Wizards defensively, you mentioned they're coming undone offensively. Defensively, just a couple of miscues and miscommunication as well, too, for themselves.
Off the inbounds, Richardson curled into a 19-footer on the left baseline and missed it. Harrell the rebound. Wizards got to score this trip. Dinwiddie finds Beal, top of the key, matched up with Schroeder. With his back to him, backing in, inside the foul line, inside the paint, goes up and draws a foul. Bradley Beal using his size on Dennis Schroeder to impose his physicality, and he's going to try to get the Wizards their first points of the overtime from the free throw line.
And this is something that we haven't seen down the stretch from the Wizards, is attacking the paint and getting to the free throw line. Obviously, we saw it from Dinwiddie at the towards the end of regulation, but this entirety of overtime so far, they haven't made a concerted effort to try and get to the free throw line like what we saw through the first 3.5 quarters of the game.
Beal puts in the first free throw. He's 8 of 8 at the stripe on the game. Second up and good as well. He's got 30 points on the night to lead the Wizards. And just like that, it's a 4-point game. Celtics 109, Wizards 105, 2:20 to go in this first overtime period. Crowd rising and chanting for a stop. Tatum curls into the paint, kicks out. Brown, left wing 3. Short over the backboard. It'll go to the Wizards. As Jaylen Brown had a good wide open look, but just not enough legs on it. 2:09 to go here. Wizards with the ball down by 4, 109-105. Dinwiddie into the front court, looking for Bradley Beal and finds him at the left hash mark. We're under 2 minutes to go. Sidestep, left wing 3, around and out, no good. Rebound fought for, and Tatum collects it. Bradley Beal just 9 of 26 from the field now on this ball game. Tatum working on KCP. A nice swing pass to Horford. It goes back to Tatum. He falls down as he puts the dribble down, and he's going to have to call a timeout. Wizards fans asking for a travel as he slid on the floor a little bit with it, but instead it'll stay with the Celtics with 6 on the shot clock and 93 seconds to go in this overtime.
It looked like when he went to the ground, he was trying to play in the World Series at the same time, sliding into the third with that one. But unfortunately, the Wizards fans don't get the turnover. He calls the timeout, and the Wizards now need to defend for the next 93 seconds, as you mentioned, but they also need to get something going offensively. And I know I sound like a broken record, Brian, but ball movement has worked in their favor throughout this entire game. They've got to get back to ball movement and off-ball movement and catch the defense for the Celtics on their heels or not communicating to take advantage of it.
Down the stretch of this game, we've seen some opportunities, but for the Wizards, Things have tended to work out best for them tonight when they've gotten to the free throw line. The Wizards shooting just 36% on the night from the field, 34 of 94. It is a testament to them that they are still in an overtime at all, that they led pretty much the entire game despite not really being able to get anything going from the field all night long.
Yeah, and that's to your point. When you can get to the free throw line and convert on your free throws, it still keeps you in the game when shots aren't falling the way that you're used to. You mentioned Brad, only 9 makes from the floor in this one, and a lot of his points have come from the free throw line because they've recognized that things haven't been falling, so they've got to get to the free throw line.
Out of the timeout, Jaylen Brown to inbound with 6 on the shot clock. Gets it into Tatum. Tatum spins, pulls up with his foot on the line. Long jumper, too strong, no good. Dinwiddie the rebound, hit ahead pass to Beal. He can't catch it cleanly, and so he has to pull it back out. Beal going to work on Tatum. Picks up the dribble. Kuzma left side. Kuzma slashes, finds Dinwiddie. He thinks about a pass. Now he slashes. Hands off to Kuzma. Back out Beal. Right side 3. Short, no good. Harrell the rebound. He goes up with it. He's met at the rim, no good. Gets it back. Goes for a dunk. He can't get it, but a foul is going to be called on Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum emphatically protesting his case. It's going to be his 5th foul. And Montrezl Harrell a chance to make it a one-possession game at the line here, and it was all because of the second jump ability of Montrezl Harrell to keep that play alive.
It's the motor that he plays with and that he's brought to DC since he got here. And, you know, Wizards bench and Wizards faithful, they wanted a technical foul call on Jason Tatum because of how frustrated he was with that call, kind of just reacting by throwing his arm. We've seen a lot less get called for a technical throughout this season, so I'm interested that the officials allowed that to go.
Harrell makes the first free throw where he is 6 of 7 for the night. So much of this game, it's felt like it's been played in a phone booth. Neither team able to break away from the other all night long. And just when it looked like the Celtics might break away in overtime, the Wizards clawing back here.
That's a great description, phone booth. That's what it's felt like. Neither team has gotten more than, what, a 6-point lead, 7-point lead?
Harrell makes them both. It's a 2-point game once again with 1:02 to go. Celtics with the ball, leading by 2 as this crowd rises to its feet once again in downtown D.C. 12 on the shot clock. Tatum going to work on Kuzma. Backing in, finds Schroeder right wing. He's patient with it, gives it off to Horford. Horford facing up on Harrell. Shot clock down to 3. Harrell forces him into a fadeaway. It's no good. Dinwiddie's got the rebound. 38 seconds to go. 20 on the shot clock. Wizards a chance to tie or take the lead on this play. Wes Unseld Jr. asking Harrell to move for a pick. Beal driving on Schroeder. Jump stop. Goes up. Banks it in off the right side of the glass. And we are tied at 109 with 25.9 to go. Once again, the crowd imploring the Wizards for one more stop. Schroeder dribbling at the half-court logo. 1.9 second differential. He gives it off to Tatum. Back to the basket at the three-point line. Spins. Dinwiddie comes in double teams. Fade away. No good. Harrell the rebound. Wes Unseld Jr. Did he get a timeout before time expired? It does not appear that the officials saw him calling for the timeout. And so Montrezl Harrell's three-quarter court heave goes begging. But if you were begging for free basketball, you're getting even more. We're headed to double overtime. Tied at 109.
Brian, I don't know how much you got left in the tank, and I'd be interested to know how much these Wizards and Celtics have left in the tank, but the way that both of these teams are gutting this out, the last time you mentioned the Celtics in that double OT game against the Knicks to open the season, and now the Wizards in their second overtime game, neither team is falling to the other. Both are throwing haymaker after haymaker. When you think you've got an edge, it seems like the other team continues to chip away.